It's lights out and away we go.
Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast.
We are your hosts Harshit Das.
And Ashish Panda.
It's a new podcast on F1 Motorsport.
We are gonna cover everything related to F1 world.
So sit back and enjoy listening to us. Many of our listeners would be already knowing that the liveries for the 2022 season have been launched, and if you didn't know, well, you know now. The liveries have been launched for the 2022 season by all the teams, and in this podcast, in this episode, we'll be taking a look at all the liveries and having a discussion around them, as well as giving our rankings based on our preferences.
For the today's podcast, I have decided that the segments will be first the favorites one of ours. The second one is let down, which team let down in terms of design and everything, and the third who are kinda okayish designs. And a disclaimer for our audience that we aren't technical gurus, so we are just gonna focus on the designs and rank or rate based upon that. So let's get into it.
Yeah, mostly the looks and the feels of the car. Like how does a normal F1 fan, the non-technical person, see it on track? Like, we won't be getting into side pod designs, blah blah blah. So it will just be on aesthetic looks and all.
So Harshit, why won't we start from our first segment, that is favorites? And what's your favorites in all the cars that were released?
In all the cars that were released, like I have a couple of favorites, and I'll just name them right now. Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, and Mercedes. These are in no order of being my favorites, but these were the four cars or four liveries that were my favorites. And if I had to properly rate them, I think Alfa Romeo would be my favorite. It gives me a very much Christmas vibe. Although they launched it the latest, and I kind of didn't expect a lot from them. But when the car was actually proper launched with the livery, it was a pretty good livery. The bold red with a mixture of white, it kind of gives me a very happy Christmassy vibe. So that's why I think I'll put it at the top. And then I think people would have expected me to put Mercedes, but no, it's the Ferrari. The Ferrari, I think, is a tone darker in the shade of red. Plus the overall design, I would say the uniqueness of this side pod, the way they kind of put those vents in the car. So overall, that was also pretty interesting to see. And especially in photographs and all, I found it quite pretty good. I think that's all I had to say for the Ferrari livery. So, and in terms of rating, I would give the Ferrari a solid 9. And then the next one, the Mercedes livery, they've gone back to their classic silver livery from the black. I generally like the black livery more, but seeing the silver livery on 2022 car, it was pretty good. On the launch day, they ended up showing us two cars. One was the renders and one was the actual car that they launched. So the renders looked pretty sleek, with the same livery, but still overall the liveries look quite slick, and I would give it a 10. But then I see the car, it's also a very solid car, but since it wasn't as sleek as the renders, I gave it a 9. But overall I think they have made it quite I would say a minimalistic approach to the whole car, because I feel that many other teams, they tried to make it a bit complex, but meanwhile Mercedes design felt quite simple, and their livery also, it was pretty simple, just silver with some those Mercedes 3-star things. So overall it was a very good livery. And then the last one in my favorites would be the Aston Martin. Aston Martin kind of shocked me a bit, because I was just expecting another green livery, but then I tuned in to watch their launch event, and that was on a complete different level. They had all the other Aston Martin cars, the Valkyrie and all, not related to F1, but still there was a good show going on over there. Plus they had holograms and all. So I think that all all of those elements added to me liking the car even more. and I think the green is a bit different from what we saw last year, probably a bit deeper. And then those lime accents, they just complement the whole color of the car. And so overall, yes, that was like a very impressive design for me, and I would give it a probably solid 8.5. So yeah, those were my favorites. Ashish, how about you? Let the listeners know your favorite for the 2022 season.
So I have three favorites, and that's Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston Martin. The order isn't there. So I will first mention
You didn't like the Alfa Romeo livery?
it's great, but it isn't that it doesn't get into the category of favorites. I can say that.
Yeah, maybe not just good enough for you. Yeah, okay, continue.
Yeah. So the most favorite for me will be Ferrari livery because obviously you gave the reason, the black highlights with the whole red car is kind of really looking good with that old vibe of the Ferrari cars. And also the side pod design is like a very sleek design. But as the meme goes, it's more like a bathtub. But jokes aside, it's kind of like Ferrari has gone really great with their engineering to get a car which is aerodynamically a great.
Yeah, like they have gone a bit bold. They have had the most, you would say, like the most aggressive design or the most different design from anyone. When we saw the side pods and their livery also, like the red, it's kind of I think a tone darker than their normal red. So I think they just wanted to make it a bit, add a bit of black to it to show that they were much more serious about everything from the new era of F1.
Yeah, and also to mention the yellow highlights somewhere like the logo and the shell logo kinda puts a cherry on the cake for the car. You can say that.
Yeah.
And the next one will be Aston Martin. And it's because of their it's similar. Their design is really bold like Ferrari. It's a more like a wider design. They have gone with a very wide side pods, and the color green, as you said, it is a deep green with a very glossy finish, which is gonna really reflect well in the sunlight in the daytime of car races.
And even in like the floodlights
Yeah.
in Bahrain and all, let's take Jeddah. I think the floodlights will be more than enough to, give a nice reflection.
Yeah,
of it.
definitely. So this was it for the Aston Martin, and at last, it's my favorite. You can say kind of like Mercedes biased, but yeah, Mercedes car. But I was kinda a little disappointed, and not like disappointed. You can say that like Harshit, I also love the black design. Once it came, it was like a dominant thing for them. But the silver arrows has been the historical part of Mercedes, and it has won them a lot of trophies during the turbo hybrid era. But the design of Mercedes is more like very sharp and sleek, with the small highlights of red is kinda getting a good vibe to the car. But yeah, kinda disappointed with that silver arrows thing. It's a great car though. And yeah, I forgot that I am rating all these cars as 10 out of 10, and that's why they are my favorites.
10 out of 10, are you making it this like something relative that your best ones will be 10 and then the others will decrease as per, like, is it something like that, or like you just loved it so much that you didn't find any flaws in the designs?
You can say that, yeah, I love the design so much that I didn't find any flaws.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So our next segment will be the letdown. Which of the cars were let down for us in all the cars that were released? And I will go on with my list, and it will include McLaren, Alpine, and Red Bull. I will start off with Red Bull. Well, we all know it was just a show car that was painted, and it was a very idiotic move by Red Bull to they were being secretive of their car or anything, I don't know. but how can you just paint the show car and show us to the fans who are just dreading how the World Drivers Championship is gonna get a new car and how the car will perform in 2022. But no one knows how they got with that idea.
Okay, so the event basically kind of ruined it for you. The whole
Yeah, you can say that.
Like, of course, they put the model car over there, but what about the livery?
The livery,
Like, what about the livery? Like, did you like it or not? I mean, it's the same livery they have been painting it on their cars for the last, probably a decade now.
yeah, it's just basic. It doesn't feel like it was something groundbreaking or anything. So
Yeah, okay, got it.
like as we talked about Ferrari, Mercedes, or Aston Martin, it was kind of groundbreaking because these weren't like basic designs that came back, or it's the old designs that are going on repeated, but there were changes in their whole design and also the color perspective. But Red Bull, their color is the same thing. They colored the same thing, and also there is nothing in the car because it's the show car. We have already seen that. So then next will be the McLaren livery. And to talk about McLaren, I would say people are saying that the blue stripes on the orange thing is growing on them, but it isn't growing on me. It looks really weird. They have a really sleek design. Their side pods are very, it is designed in a very bold design. Even the nose tip isn't that bold, but the side pod is a very little bold design. But the blue with the orange is even a glossy type. It is more like a matte type, which is very ugly according to me.
Okay, you find the orange ugly. I find it pretty good. McLaren I find it pretty decent. Yeah, the matte orange, black and blue. The orange and blue, it was there last season as well. But I think, yeah, the black one, I think they tried to unify it with their IndyCar team also. So something went over there because of which they came up with this design.
And yeah, I agree with you. So, and the next one will be the Alpine design. They have two cars. First one will be the pink one, which is going to be used in the first two races, and it's kind of good. But whenever BWT enters, it's more like they really want a car with all pink, which I don't really find when they get an idea that a pink car will really look really great. At least find a design that will look good. But the Alpine one, yeah, I can say that it is kind of growing on me when I look at it. But still, the side pods with that BWT logo in the pink one is, it's really, it kills me at one point. But when I see it from the front, it looks really good. And also the Alpine color is a very glossy type, and it will look really good, like the Aston Martin one on the in the floodlights and the sunlight in the day races. So this was it for me in the letdown. What's your point of view on these cars, and what are your letdown?
I don't. This season, as such, I don't have many letdowns. Like, it is like I have only two. One is Haas and the other is Red Bull. Haas, I didn't expect anything from them. It's the basic livery. Like, although many people have liked the livery, like they made us very subtle changes. So many people like.
Yeah, but it was much better than going overboard and using anything.
Yeah, they kind of toned it down a bit, but still I didn't expect anything from them. So I just put them in the letdown list. And Red Bull, because they just they decided not to do anything of their livery. So that was a letdown. I expected something new at least.
That team is just an idiot.
Okay, you are pretty offended by the team. Yeah, but I kind of expected Red Bull to do something different, mainly because last year they won the World's Driver Championship at least. So maybe in that sense they could have done something different, but they just kept it very basic, and the launch event was a disappointment. So yeah, that's why Red Bull is a letdown for me.
Yeah, that's understandable. So we will get into our next segment, that will be okayish, or you can say good liveries. So Harshit, why don't you start from your choices who are in this category of okayish or good?
For me, I'll say most of them I just put under good category. Like okayish also sounds okayish, but then yeah, good. In good, I have four teams: Williams, Alpine, McLaren, and AlphaTauri. So I think there is no specific order to this. There is nothing I can really order. So for Williams, I don't know. I didn't have any such expectations. Like I didn't have a prediction to where their livery design will go. And overall, when I saw the car, the livery launch, it was a bit disappointing. Just seeing like a lot of blue triangles and all, I'm like, what kind of design is this? But then at some specific angles, especially from the top view, the design started growing on me. So overall, I would say it's a solid design, but then not really a very great design. So for that reason, I'll just give it a 7. Alpine, on the other hand, Alpine last year they had this amazing livery with the matte blue finish. It was shiny as well as matte, so yeah, it was a pretty good livery. But this time their BWT livery, the one which has only pink in it, that's horrible. I don't like it at all. I think we could have put that in the letdown, but then since that will just stay for only 2 races, we focus on the main livery. The main livery, I think I would say it's very new, because like even their old livery, it was just 1 year new, but this one it adds a bit of pink to it, and in places where the pink has been added, I think it kind of complements it in some places it takes it away. So overall I would say it's a good design. Like I have started liking it over the time, and luckily this time they don't have this huge bulge on their air intake. And so overall, I think the design is a good one. So I would give it a solid 8. Same for the McLaren. The McLaren is more or less similar, except their blue being more aqua this time, and with some black highlights here and there. Overall, I think it gives me a very gamer vibes. So I like the design, and it's a solid 8. And now moving on to the last car for this section and for my whole list, AlphaTauri. I think I find the design to be quite unique. I don't know for what reasons, but it feels pretty unique to me. And especially their launch was like, they had this full future vibes going on. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And like the best part I like about AlphaTauri in the design, the side pod, the way they have labeled AlphaTauri on the side pod, that's also pretty interesting. Plus just the combination of that deep blue and white, it's pretty good. And since they are a fashion brand, I think a good design was expected from them, and I would say this is a good design. And again, I'll give this a 8.5 from my side. Although it didn't make it into my favorites list, 8.5 is a pretty good rating, and I like the design a lot. So Ashish, how about the cars that you have put in the good list, and then we wrap it up?
Well, getting to it, before that, I would mention that I forgot to rate my list in the letdown category. Just going through it in a flash.
You want to give the letdowns a rating? Seriously?
You can say that Red Bull deserves to get a rating, and I am rating them 0 out of 10 because they got nothing. Because they got nothing to the plate of the fans. And to Alpine, I would like to give 6 out of 10, and also the same for McLaren. So getting into the okayish list, AlphaTauri is on the top, and that's because of the same reason that Harshit you gave, that blue is going really well with the white, and they have a unique side pods, that squarish side pods. But I am little disappointed with the way they have written the AlphaTauri on the front wing. Rather, the side pods, the way they have written the AlphaTauri, that whole curve one, it is really highlighting them. So it was a great car. It is a great car for me. That's why it's on the top in this list. And the next one will be Williams. The Williams one, it was I wasn't hoping that it will be a great car. Because from sides it is really filled with a lot of triangles, And the most biggest disappointment for me is the red highlights that they have given to make it more like a British car. They could have used a white highlight that has been there in the Williams and their logo that gives a great contrast. But no one knows that why they have gone to portray that they are a great British brand. But whatever. And also, I didn't notice initially, but triangles that are there on the back side, behind the side pods, are written as a W. So it's kinda good. It's growing really well, but I would say the blue especially, it's really good if I ignore the whole red highlight, and that's why I list it in the second position in this list. And also Williams is fighting with Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo with the red, it's not the red, it's burgundy. The burgundy and white combination with the Alfa Romeo written in a very advertisement way. Like I was joking with you that it is more like a Coca-Cola advertisement. But whatever. Jokes aside, it is a great way they have written the Alfa Romeo, and also to look at the rims of the car. It is very different from any of the other cars, as they have designed it for themselves. And as you mentioned, it definitely looks like a Christmas chariot. So they are in the third position in the list, and that's why Williams and Alfa Romeo have the same rating for me, that is 8 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. And I forgot to tell about Alpha Tauri. Why am I forgetting so much? Alpha Tauri, I am rating that 9 out of 10. And to come to the last team, that is Haas. As you said, it is a very basic design, but I like their design because they were better than McLaren or Alpine, who went. We can blame Alpine also because of the sponsorships. They have to have the pink highlights and all the things. But McLaren could have used the blue, orange and black in a better way. Especially I can say that orange isn't growing on me. That orange is a matte one. That's why it's just throwing me off. Whereas Haas, it has gone with a very basic design that was there in the last year also, but it's looking good on this car this time. Yeah. So this was it for this podcast that included all the 2020 liveries and their discussion, and we gave our ratings and everything. For the next podcast, it will include the Barcelona testing and all the progress that's been made by all the teams. So that's it for this episode.
See you guys in the next one.